Welcome back, everybody. Our topic this week: why your New York City cab ride costs so much. This is your host, Dr. Paul Price, for Options Profits. We have an artificially controlled supply of cabs. Why? Because New York City, to have a legal cab, you need a medallion. And you know what? They rarely increase the number of medallions, which are now running 13,237. And these sold first in 1937 for $10. That would have been equivalent in today's money for about $157.50. What were they selling for recently? Well, medallions trade like stocks. They trade on a supply and demand basis through the auction process. Supply has been static while demand ebbs and flows with economic times and the price of fuel and everything else. In October, two sold at a record price of $1 million each, just for the privilege of having a legal cab in New York City. So, medallions have done relatively well here over the last 30 years. They're up over 1,900%. That's better in return than the Dow Jones average, real estate, gold, or oil. All those things did pretty well. Medallions did even better over the long term simply because of that limited supply and good demand. Before that flag drops the first time of the year, you have all these different expenses if you want to run a taxi. You have the cost of capital, which would be the medallion and the vehicle with all the safety equipment and the meters, etc. That could easily run you $1,050,000 to $1,001,000 easily. And even at a 5% cost of capital, you're talking at least $50,000 to $70,000 per year just to get that cab medallion and bought. You have insurance. You have the cost of the driver. You have all maintenance and obviously fuel costs, which are not insignificant anymore. So there's a lot of expense before that cab takes in its very first fare. With those kind of huge expenses, most of these cabs in New York City are running 365 days a year, and they're running 24 hours, 7 days a week, as long as they're not down for servicing. The only thing that might help, New York City could do a secondary offering of medallions and increase the supply, but you know what? There's a huge lobby of existing medallion owners that don't want that because they want that supply to stay tight and the prices and values of their medallions to stay high. Thanks for joining me again today. This has been your host, Dr. Paul Price, for Options Profits.